let's take a look at our favorite senator, Elizabeth Warren, and her stooge, Chuck Todd, as they discuss Bitcoin and prove to you once and for all that the media are completely ignorant on subjects.
With Bitcoin, there's no thing that backs it up. And that's what makes it different. It's just belief. You and I assess. You assess the value is going to go down. I assess it's going to go up, and therefore I buy.
So it's more like this artwork.
No, because at the end of the day, I can hang that thing on my wall.
Right.
And I can enjoy it,
But you
or
could
I
sell
can
it.
throw darts at it.
You could sell it for money.
Sure you can. I mean, there are features about it that are the same, but it's not the same. And look, one of the things we have to remember about, there are a lot of things that come within this crypto world. So for example, we could be talking about, instead of Bitcoin, we could be talking about digital currency. Now that's something very different.
I think that's different too. I buy that. I accept that.
That's right, because that's a government-backed electronic transfer. And it can be denominated in dollars, it could be denominated in euros, it could be denominated in some new language that's made up. But that has something that backs it up. It has a government that says, if at the end of the day there's a run on this stuff, everybody wants theirs out, the United States government promises there will be something to back it up. And that's what banks are about. There'll be somebody there to back it up. But with Bitcoin, that's not the case.
It's funny that she's making the comparison to art because Bitcoin is the ultimate art in its construction. But what it really is, it is perfected gold. It is digital gold, but with all of the advantages of being a digital asset. In other words, you can transmit it to somebody at lightning rate. You can transport it wherever you go. It has no weight. With gold, you have to spend a lot of money in order to keep it safe. With Bitcoin, it is protected. What is backing it, Elizabeth Warren, is in fact the digital network, the wall of electricity that is impenetrable to those who would wish to alter the ledger, so that we know who has what number of coins. It is fully auditable and very different than the dollar, which is backed by the Federal Reserve and the U.S. military. Yes, the U.S. military absolutely is a fantastic backer for the U.S. dollar. I mean, they are flat out gangster. Just take a look at what happened to Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi when they decided that they were going to try to take a different currency for their oil, to sell their oil in a different currency. Guap! They were gone. The U.S. military absolutely is an enforcer of the dollar. And if you take a look at all the energy that goes into that enforcement versus Bitcoin, there is a massive divergence. And Bitcoin is completely peaceful. It is a wall of energy that acts to counter any party that wishes to attempt to destroy it, which is why Bitcoin needs the energy usage, Warren. And what else backs the US dollar is the fact that in the past, at least, people had faith that America was the land of freedom and opportunity. This is being dissolved by the Democrats, which are promoting horrendous law practices in terms of going after people for freedom of speech, allowing criminals to run free in New York City and San Francisco, Los Angeles, not prosecuting them for shoplifting. People do not want to be in America as much as they used to. And I can tell you from personal experience, because as an American, I'm hedging my bets partly by living overseas. That is my bet that America isn't what it used to be. And I'm a big, proud advocate of my country, at least in the past. Furthermore, the U.S. is taking on massive amounts of debt. And eventually it becomes like a credit card payment. The more debt that you continue to pile on, eventually, especially with the raised interest rates that Powell has done, which is why they're going to have to decrease them and monetize the debt. The only way out of this is either massive productivity gains by way of artificial general intelligence or cold fusion, some technological breakthrough like that. Otherwise, you're just compiling debt, and eventually, as I said, the credit card payment, the interest payment is going to be more than you're taking in terms of taxes. So you're either going to have to tax people to hell, or you're going to have to do austerity. Neither one is viable. So the only thing that they're going to do is monetize the debt, making what you have worthless. Furthermore, with the CBDC, with the centralized digital currency, the powers that be, Elizabeth Warren, who believes that she knows best what for everybody what they must do, they are going to have the power to control the purse strings, your purse strings, not just the government's purse strings, because if you are deemed a bad actor, as Justin Trudeau in Canada did to the truckers movement, he froze their bank accounts. Not so much fun if you dared to oppose the status quo. Or maybe it's as simple as saying, hey, we have an inflation, we're going to attach a negative interest rate to the money that you have in the bank account, so you better spend it now. This is what they're able to do if you remove the fact, if you remove cash, if you remove the bearer asset. Bitcoin is gold perfected, and it has a wall of energy backing it, and it's not controlled by the likes of you, which is the main reason that I want to use it, because I do not trust people like you, Miss Liz Warren. And the sad part is that she's not dumb. She might not be Elon Musk, but she's not dumb. She's completely disingenuous, and she's trying to scare the masses into avoiding the life raft as they tightly wrap their noose around your money, where you're not going to be able to move it from the banks, where you're not going to be able to move it overseas, where they're going to decide what you are allowed to do with it. And Bitcoin, of course, is the life raft away from this, and she's going into full propaganda mode along with her stooge Chuck Todd and all the other media in order to prevent you from doing this. This is the state of affairs, and so I make this video to counteract Elizabeth Warren so that you guys can see through, hopefully, her lies and obfuscation of what is truth, and that truth is Bitcoin, where you can plan for the future without inflation, without your money being debased by a horrible government, with people that are fallible deciding how to spend your money. Bitcoin is your money. Keep that in mind when you're deciding how to invest and who to trust.